Most people think budgeting is about cutting out lattes and living like a monk. That's exactly why 80% of budgets fail within the first month. The real problem isn't your willpower, it's that you're using the wrong system entirely. What I'm about to show you isn't about deprivation, it's about optimization. And the difference between those two approaches is literally hundreds of dollars every month. Here's the truth that financial gurus won't tell you. Saving money has nothing to do with income level and everything to do with understanding where your money actually goes. I'm going to walk you through 5 specific strategies that can save you $500 or more per month, even if you're earning $30,000 a year. These aren't theoretical. They're based on real data from people who've implemented them. The biggest lie in personal finance is that budgeting is about restriction. That's why most people hate it and quit. Traditional budgeting asks you to predict the future, track every penny, and feel guilty when you inevitably overspend. It's designed to fail. But what if I told you that the most successful budgeters, people who consistently save 20% or more of their income, don't actually budget the way you think they do? They use what behavioral economists call systems thinking instead of willpower thinking. By the way, if you're new to this channel, hi, I'm Lily from InvesLily. I help everyday people ditch the excuses, skip the fluff, and start building wealth from wherever they are. Let me introduce you to our case study. We'll call her Esther, a 28-year-old teacher earning $38,000 annually. She tried traditional budgeting for 3 years and saved maybe $50 per month on a good month. Last year, she implemented the 5 strategies I'm about to share with you. By December, she was consistently saving $520 per month. That's $6,240 per year, without feeling deprived. Here's what Esther discovered, and what you're about to learn. Money management isn't about math. It's about psychology and systems. First strategy is what I call the invisible allocation method. Most people budget by trying to control their spending. Esther learned to control her access to money instead. Esther's monthly take-home was $2,470 after taxes and benefits. Instead of trying to track where every dollar went, she immediately moved money out of her checking account the day she got paid. Here's exactly what she did. She opened 3 separate accounts. One for fixed expenses like rent and utilities, one for variable expenses like groceries and gas, and one for savings. The key was automating the transfers so the money moved before she could spend it. Esther allocated $1,400 to fixed expenses, $800 to variable expenses, and $270 to savings. Notice that adds up to $2,470. Every dollar had a job before it hit her main checking account. The psychological trick here is profound. When Esther wanted to buy something, she wasn't fighting against her budget. She was working with the money that was actually available. No guilt, no complex tracking, just clear boundaries. This single change saved Esther $180 per month because she stopped the account balance confusion that leads to overspending. When you see $2,470 in your account, your brain thinks you have $2,470 to spend. When you see $800 in your variable expenses account, you naturally spend closer to $800. The second strategy is the subscription audit system. This isn't about canceling everything. It's about conscious consumption. Esther discovered she was spending $347 per month on subscriptions and recurring payments. Not just Netflix and Spotify, things like gym memberships she never used, software trials she forgot about, and premium services she didn't need. Here's the system that works. Esther created a simple spreadsheet with 4 columns: service, monthly cost, last used, and keep or cancel. She went through her bank statements for the past 3 months and listed every recurring charge. The rule she applied: if she hadn't used a service in 90 days, she canceled it immediately. If she had used it but couldn't remember the last time, she canceled it and signed up again if she actually needed it later. Esther canceled $89 worth of subscriptions that first week. But here's the key insight. She also upgraded 2 services she used daily because she realized she was paying for basic versions of things that were worth more to her. The result wasn't just $89 in savings, it was clarity about what she actually valued. This is why the subscription audit works better than blanket cutting. You're not depriving yourself, you're being intentional. The third strategy is energy-based meal planning. Most people fail at food budgeting because they try to plan meals when they're motivated, then execute when they're tired. Esther was spending $520 per month on food, $280 on groceries, and $240 on takeout. She wasn't eating expensive meals. She was making inefficient decisions when she was hungry and tired. The system she implemented was based on energy management, not meal planning. Sunday mornings, when she had high energy, Esther would do 3 things: prep proteins for the week, wash and cut vegetables, and cook one large batch meal that could be repurposed. But here's the crucial part. Esther planned for her tired self. She kept a list of 5 simple meals that required minimal decision-making: pasta with pre-prepped vegetables, rice bowls with pre-cooked protein, and 3 different salad combinations. She also implemented what I call decision reduction. Instead of choosing what to eat each day, she assigned categories. Monday was pasta day, Tuesday was rice bowl day, Wednesday was salad day, and so on. This eliminated the decision fatigue that leads to expensive convenience choices. The result? Esther's food spending dropped to $310 per month, a savings of $210. More importantly, she was eating healthier because she wasn't making food decisions when she was stressed. The 4th strategy is the 48-hour rule for non-essential purchases. This isn't about never buying anything, it's about intentional purchasing. Esther realized she was spending about $200 per month on things she wanted but didn't need: books, clothes, gadgets, home decor. The purchases weren't individually expensive, mostly $15 to $50 items, but they added up. The system was simple. Any non-essential purchase over $25 required a 48-hour waiting period. Esther would add the item to a wish list and set a reminder to revisit it in 2 days. Here's what happened. About 60% of the time, Esther didn't want the item anymore after 48 hours. When she did still want it, she often found a better version or a better price because she had time to research properly. But the real insight was psychological. The 48-hour rule eliminated the dopamine hit of immediate gratification that drives impulse spending. Esther found she enjoyed the anticipation of waiting, and when she did buy something, she appreciated it more. This strategy saved Esther $120 per month, but more importantly, it changed her relationship with purchasing. She moved from reactive spending to proactive choosing. The 5th strategy is the energy bill optimization protocol. Most people accept their utility bills as fixed expenses. They're not. Esther's monthly energy costs were $180, $120 for electricity, $40 for gas, and $20 for water. She implemented a systematic approach to reduce these costs without impacting her comfort. First, she did a vampire energy audit. These are devices that draw power even when they're off: TVs, computers, chargers, coffee makers. Esther bought $30 worth of smart power strips and programmed them to cut power to devices during specific hours. Second, she implemented temperature zone management. Instead of heating or cooling her entire apartment, Esther focused on the room she was actually using. She used a programmable thermostat to lower temperatures when she was asleep or away. Third, Esther negotiated with her service providers. She called her internet and phone companies not to cancel, but to ask about current promotions or loyalty discounts. This 30-minute call saved her $35 per month. The combined result? Esther's monthly energy and communications costs dropped from $180 to $125, a savings of $55 per month. Over a year, that's $660 with minimal effort. Let's add up Esther's total monthly savings. $180 from invisible allocation, $89 from subscription optimization, $210 from energy-based meal planning, $120 from the 48-hour rule, and $55 from energy optimization. That's $654 per month. But here's what's more important than the dollar amount. Esther didn't feel deprived. She felt in control. These weren't sacrifices, they were optimizations. She was spending money on things that mattered to her and eliminating waste on things that didn't. The key insight that changed everything for Esther was understanding the difference between being cheap and being intentional. Being cheap means minimizing all spending. Being intentional means maximizing value from your spending. These 5 strategies work because they're based on systems, not willpower. They work with human psychology instead of against it. And they're scalable. Whether you're earning $30,000 or $100,000, the principles remain the same. The most successful people I've studied don't have perfect discipline. They have better systems. They've automated the decisions that drain mental energy and preserve their willpower for the choices that actually matter. Your income doesn't determine your savings rate, your systems do. Esther proved that earning $38,000 doesn't mean you can't save significant money. It means you need to be more intentional about how you manage what you have. If you implement just one of these strategies this week, you'll save money. If you implement all 5, you'll fundamentally change your relationship with money. The question isn't whether you can afford to make these changes, it's whether you can afford not to. Start with the invisible allocation method. It's the foundation that makes everything else easier. Set up those 3 accounts this week. Automate the transfers. Remove the money from your checking account before you can spend it. Then tackle the subscription audit. Pull up your bank statements right now and list every recurring charge. Apply the 90-day rule ruthlessly. These aren't just budgeting hacks, they're wealth-building fundamentals. The $500 you save this month becomes $6,000 this year. Invested properly, that $6,000 becomes $60,000 over the next decade. Your financial future isn't determined by how much you earn. It's determined by how much you keep and what you do with what you keep. These 5 strategies give you the foundation to keep more so you can build more. The difference between financial stress and financial freedom isn't a salary increase, it's a system upgrade. You now have the blueprint. The only question is whether you'll use it. If this video made you think differently, hit the like button so more people can find it. Subscribe for weekly videos on building wealth, and turn on the bell if you're serious about changing your financial future.